natural on their products because of the leniency with the FDA. So it's important that these things are labeled, I would think. Ray, let me go with you on this. I mean, wouldn't you want to know if there are pesticides or herbicides being engineered inside your food?
Well, I think it's always important to know what you're eating, and just like any other ingredients or anything that you might be allergic to, like on some products you'll see, this was manufactured in a nut factory, or you might have nuts and seeds, to let people know that, if they're allergic to certain things, that they shouldn't eat the product. Same thing should be with food that you're eating. How was it made? Where was it made? So you can take it or you can leave it. I don't think that that's fair, or it's really misleading. Because if you tell somebody something's all natural, you in the thought process of that it was just, sprinkle some water on it and maybe a little fertilizer or something to make it grow, but other than that, that's it. And I think if you don't tell people what's going on, it can be real dangerous in the future. And I think that, they've been putting profit in front of people's health and their lives. But a lot of this stuff is what keeps medications going, what keeps all this research and stuff going on, because they know it's stuff out there that's going to make you sick. They just want to make their money off of it. And I think it's a bad thing. I mean, everybody can't grow their food in their garden, but really, if your vegetables are unhealthy, what's next?
Okay. And, Buck, what's your take on it, man? I mean, do you think it's okay if the FDA approves it, then it's no big deal, or should we be concerned about what exactly it is? Because, again, they're not asking that they ban the food. They're just asking that they label it.
I think we're traveling down a dangerous road, and simply because we having a lot of issues with just all this genetically engineered everything. I mean, we're already starting to see birth rates down, and because there's so much different things added in everything that we have, from water to food to everything else. We're starting to see lower birth rates, lower sperm counts, and we're starting to see new diseases pop up, all because of all of this, different genetic coding and so forth. So I think the FDA needs to go back to the drawing board, and they need to do something different. They don't need to be altering corn. They need to be trying to figure out how to, grow it properly. Now you're starting to see labels on chicken, that, don't have, they're not, not grown with steroids and things of that nature. There's enough genetic stuff enhanced. We need to actually cut back on it, so that way some of the new diseases won't be fighting off the antibiotics that we have, because evidently what we got going on now is, we don't have enough medicine to kind of keep up with some of the stuff that's coming out. So I think the FDA needs to go back to the drawing board and come up with some stiffer penalties or, stiffer laws on some of the stuff that's being altered.
Okay. And M&M, chemical companies, of course, are funding the opposition to Prop 37 like a mother. And the U.S. Senate just recently voted down the bill to label GMOs. Now, I know that putting a label on these products will make some people shy away from them, and that could cost a lot of farmers some money. However, farmers are already, I guess I should say allegedly, killing us with the food that they're growing now. I mean, eggs are being shipped across country, and by the time they go from New York to California, they're full-grown chickens. I mean, it's ridiculous how they're Frankensteining these products to grow and make more money. Now, I'm no farmer, but I come from a family of them with my father and my mother and my grandmothers who were big into it, right? I mean, my grandmother and my father still have gardens. So I do know you have to treat the soil right in order to grow the best food, and today's farmers aren't doing that. Now, I've heard of sowing what you reap, but they're not reaping, they're raping the soil. I mean, 50 years ago, they may have gotten a couple of harvests out of a garden, but now they're probably getting like 10. And at the rate they're going, I mean, are the farmers the blame, or do you think it's pressure from these chemical companies to do this?
Well, I mean, that's the key word. Anytime you have capitalism anywhere, it's certain lines you can't cross. You know, I'm a capitalist. I mean, I love it to a certain extent, but when it comes down to social things, when it comes down to the things we eat, that's when you got to take the money factor out. Listen, Mother Nature is on a perfect formula. It's the perfect equation. You can't fuck with it. If you do, it's always going to be some adverse effect, and I think Buck named about half of them. You know, yeah, maybe you get more from this crop production, but there's a reason. Like I said, my father was the on my dad's side, he was the youngest, so I had grandparents that were very old compared to most kids coming up. So I spent a lot of time with them, and I always had to do a lot of farm work. So I know how to do all kind of stuff with plants and stuff like that. Pretty much the natural way, what people call the organic way now. But organic is the way it's supposed to be anyway. You ain't supposed to be putting all this shit on there. You know, natural fertilizers like manure and stuff like that.
Right.
But when you're genetically altering something, you know, you're screwing it up. When a crop dies, that's Mother Nature's way of saying, hey, something's wrong with this shit. It's not going to produce. When it produces healthy, it's the perfect fruit. It's the perfect vegetable. Right. You don't have to do anything to it. Same way with livestock. You know, when an animal reaches a certain point where it can be slaughtered, if there is a disease, it will not live past a certain stage. That's Mother Nature's way of naturally cleansing, naturally purifying. You don't have to do anything to it. And you got all these.
You used to hear about some older people, whenever they had a garden or a field or something, there were certain areas they would only harvest, you know, like every other year because they get the soil time to recuperate.
Right, they get the soil time to recuperate, and then they also rotated the crops. Like if there was a section where they planted, let's just say string beans, well, the next year there would be corn there. The year after that, it might be some cucumbers. Then you would, you know, rotate and start back again. You wouldn't just rape the land, so to speak.
Right.
Because if you do everything the way it was intended, everything would be perfect. And of course, you know, a lot of history books been altered and stuff like that. But it's funny if you look at true American history. The Native American nations that were here long before the settlers and all this shit, you know, had been raising maize and just various other things for centuries with an S on it. You know what I'm saying? So everything was in a perfect balance. And then when you start just doing shit, and it's not because America's on the verge of famine. Come on, you know, this shit all about money. You know, so you're just trying to just get a yield as high as you can, but the adverse effect, you're screwing up Mother Nature, you're screwing up the environment, and you're gonna lose. You know, you can't beat this stuff. You know, so I think that if politics really wanna get in good graces with the American public, is if they come up with some policies now where it's just absolutely hands off anything dealing with things that you know, like the stock market on clothes or fuel or something works totally different than with livestock and farming. I mean, you can't just start doing stuff like that. It just you know, it just throws everything off.
All right, now on Twitter, Lady T chimed in. She said genetically modified foods multiplies and amplifies cancer cells, high blood pressure, and sugar diabetes. And she also stated, I have relatives on my mom's side still alive and well in their late 90s because they eat and grow everything themselves. And let me travel down to the 340 to the VI and bring on my man Archie. What's happening, man?
It's all good, Q.
And Arch, what do you think about this? Is this? I mean, I can only assume that this is probably going on where you are as well, since you all have American ties, I guess. But I don't know.
We hear about it down here, but I mean, down here is very much especially on St. Croix, it's very much an agriculture area. It's very, you know, we have an agriculture fair every year where farmers from all over the island come together and, you know, sell their stuff. So Yeah, my mom has had her gardens for years. I was raised, helping her out and stuff. So it's down here, we hear genetically modified, and everybody kind of just goes, yeah, okay, we're not messing with that. I'm pretty sure if the bill goes through that, they're gonna be selling genetically modified, vegetables and not labeling it, then personally, I would like to see people, stop shopping in the supermarket. Go to your local farmers and buy straight from them.
But remember what you said about the plants being infiltrated by the other plants by Monsanto. I'm just saying.
Okay, in that case, the Sheebia says we're all gonna die, so never mind.
No, I mean, you saw the tweet. I posted a lot of tweets about this all day, about Monsanto, about the march that they just had this weekend, millions of people all around the world. I started watching the video, but apparently he won't watch it for an hour because he already knows this information, and we discussed this, and he was saying that it goes so far as the plants that are being genetically engineered because of germination, they spread to the regular crops, and so therefore it's pretty much infiltrated all crops. So, yeah.
So fine, we're all going to die. Never mind.
No, I don't want the phone.
I'm not saying anything.
I got to do my paper.
Take it easy, Q.
All right. But, yeah, I just think that it's something that needs to be done, and money's going to wind up killing everyone in this country before the year 2100. I see that right now. The average lifespan by the time the year 2100 rolls around is going to be 12. It is absolutely ridiculous with what they're doing. All right, 347-202-0215 is the number. All right, now check this out. And Ray, I'm going to start with you first on this. As a part of School Spirit Week, a Milwaukee elementary school decided, their student council, decided on something they want to call Gender Bender Day. All right? Gender Bender Day is where first and second graders will come to school cross-dressed. Okay. Someone thought it would be a good idea to have Gender Bender Day at an elementary school. Now, not many students participated, and some parents actually kept their kids at home that day. What do you think the idea of 6 and 7-year-old boys wearing dresses and 6 and 7-year-old girls wearing suits and fake mustaches to school for a day?
Well, I think it's just terrible. But what's happening in the country right now is that what used to be unacceptable is becoming acceptable. I give you a quick example. Roy Hibbert just said no homo, and everybody went crazy. If the homosexual community is in the minority, why do they even have a big voice like that? Anything you say, everybody got to be on. They got to change what they say and apologize real quick, and they leveling out heavy fines and everything else. See, a lot of people out here want this kind of thing to be acceptable young. I don't think if you have a son, ain't no way in hell you should let your son wear a dress to school for Halloween, just as a joke, putting on his sister's clothes. None of that should be acceptable. But right now, they teach you that it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that, and really, I think that it's just terrible. It's a frightening future. 50 years from now, who knows what it's going to look like out here. And when you dressing kids up and all that, man, listen, if they'd have put my kid in there without their knowledge, I would have knocked somebody on their ass. You would have come out better, slapping them or something than doing some shit like that. I just don't agree with it, and I don't like it.
Okay. And, Buck, let me go to you on this. And, would you investigate the people who submitted this idea and question to them if they have some kind of agenda or something?
They would be fired, because bottom line of it is this is something that This shit is completely unacceptable.